You! I'm trying to take it steadier on the second lap to save my legs and the battery. See if we can get it to 3, but bits like this, just too much fun. You!
Welcome to part 2 of the Whyte E-Lyte 140 Works epic ride round Dalby Forest. So hopefully you've watched part 1. If you haven't, go and watch that now, or this won't make a whole ton of sense. And if you have watched part 1, then make sure you've had your wee, make sure you've washed your hands, and sit down for yet more flat out footage from Dalby Forest. We've got a long way to go, but we've still got a bunch of battery and a whole lot to talk about on this super light superbike. So, let's crack on.
Proper pop and play. Yes, Whyte. You can tell there's an enduro winner in the design team. In fact, several in the design team with Neil and Sam. Just got a serious amount of playability, even in its most uptight and efficient XC spec. Oh, techie section. Again, it's just a really natural pedalling feel. 50k done. 3.5 bars left. Organic bakewell slice going down the hatch. It's a long day. I know this is meant to be a distance ride, but you can't miss out on the fun bits, can you? You? Just that low weight and lowered weight means it's as fun to chuck around on the berms and the jumps as a standard trail bike. Oh well, they've opened the black line. Let's get sending. Yes. Again, tight and efficient. You've only got 135 mil of travel at the back end of this bike, not 140. You get on the 150 mil fork bikes, but still tons of control, and even for sending it. But it's as much the agility. I mean, obviously everything's relative. You know, this is relatively light for an e-bike. It's still heavy for a trail bike, but the actual way it balances that weight is really, really good. That's the thing, it just feels super natural in the way it sends, the way it corners, the way it drifts. The handling has always been a highlight of the Whyte e-bikes, and it certainly is on this Works 140. So the handling is just super neutral, and because the weight is so low down, you can properly just flack it from side to side. Woo! Drifter. Ah! But because you got that stiffness in the frame as well, there's loads of feedback. I mean, I guess swings and roundabouts, isn't it? Because a stiff frame means less compliance, less nursing of that tyre. But you're certainly very aware of what it's doing in terms of slipping and sliding. And these wheels, super stiff as well. So again, really precise feedback. Yeah, this Fit 4 definitely quite a nutty, harsh fork on bigger hits. It's all right once it gets into its stroke, but it takes a fair wallop to get moving. And that float shock on the back as well. It's not the first bike I've ridden where it's felt pretty sharp rather than fluid. Though again, once it gets into its stroke, loads of control, but definitely quite what I call a rally tune rather than a comfort tune. Oh, this bike is a real pinner though. Yep, there's no escaping the fact that tyres, wheels, bar, fork, frame, all built into a bike that's just a bit of a rattle can. And what's interesting is, you know, you kind of notice it most along sections like this, where you're tapping roots and rocks. Bike behind if there's an easy spot to pass. Second lap done. 76k in the bag. Still grinning. Still grinning. And most surprisingly, still 2.5 bars on that battery. So, halfway through the load. The only downer is it seems to pull the battery charge out of the booster pack and the main pack together. It doesn't empty the booster first and then let you run it without that pack. So I haven't got the chance to ditch that extra 1.5 kilos plus of weight for the last 2 laps, for the last lap, if I go for it, which you can do on other piggyback systems. Right, so drop the tyre pressure a bit, change my helmet, come with the light mounting, stuck a light in my bag, so I don't think we're going to finish this one in the light. But I reckon the 2.5 bars still in the tank. Got to give lap 3 a go, haven't we? And while the geometry isn't as slack as some bikes, like the Levo SL or the Heckler, it does a really nifty turning if you're about to overshoot a corner. It really tucks in nicely whether you're climbing or descending. And again, I think part of that is the 34 is not normally a super stiff fork, but that little load and flick just feels great on this bike. And I have to say, letting some pressure out of the tyres has been a real eye-opener in terms of how stiff those Goodyears are. Feeling a lot better now. Hands and elbows in a lot happier place. A few PSI left. Fork's still a bit slappy because it's a Fit 4, but in the grand scheme of things, much happier with the comfort levels of this bike now. Just goes to show sometimes the easiest upgrades don't even cost anything. A couple of blips with the valve, golden. I'm going to keep the camera on because I seem to remember this bit was quite fun. Is it this bit? Nah. Well, you know, again, classic Dalby. Just nice little pop and hop flow trail with some little rise and fall kickers. The average hub speed pretty high here. You know, just glance down there and it's about 17k an hour average. So even climbs generally on double figures. Certainly if you've got a bit of bosh behind your legs as well. Just burnt that half a bar out of the battery and put some extra calories out of my legs, but I keep forgetting to film this bit, and it's great. It's a nice little set of whoop and holler berms with a little pop on it. Proper highlight of the lap, that. And these big, well, not big, but little fades. Just a nice little section. Didn't learn anything about the bike apart from the fact that it's enough fun going down that it's worth going back up to show you. So I guess is actually quite telling. And the whole bike just feels really natural and honest, for want of a better word. There's no silly run on this motor. It doesn't have so much power, even if you're running it at rich. It's going to spin the back wheel. It's actually a really good technical climber just because of how natural that motor feels. I've got up stuff on this, even with the plastic Goodyear tyre that other people on full fat e-bikes with a sticky tyre on haven't cleaned. Just because, you know, you're not just spinning the back wheel to oblivion, and it's not forcing you out of corners in any weird way. It's just a really natural level of assistance. And like I say, you know, 600 watts means there's plenty of grunt there if you need it. I mean, it's hard to say this any other way without sounding like an absolute hell-end, but I haven't been passed by anyone on any sort of bike today, mate. Plenty of e-bikes out here, and this has dusted all of them. Up, down, along. It's had the measure of every bike I've met. And remember, pretty much exclusively run it in eco. Which again, you know, 2 hour lap times. Even my second lap, when definitely did some dawdling, did some chatting with people I caught up. Definitely backed it off a lot more than the previous lap. I was only like 5, maybe, yeah, 5, 7, 8 minutes slower. And that's with stopping for the bits of B-roll clip as well. Should inevitably take the average down. So, yeah. Proper quick, this bike. Proper quick. And, you know, as you can see, trails are a bit damp still. They'd run faster so completely dry. I mean, I'm not complaining, it's a lovely bit of hero dirt for a bit of slip and slide, but and if I'd done a full natural ride, I probably would have got bogged down and not got nearly as far. But if you came here when it was baked, definitely get a lot further. And also, it's pretty cold. It's about 5 degrees. So that's going to affect battery life as well. And as well as the work they put into the battery layout and the storage and everything, typically for Whyte, there's a ton of detailing. Sounds like weatherproofing, so you've got sealed cable ports there if you're running cables. You can see you've got the bottle, the battery down there, you've got bash guard on the belly, you've got a neat little flap protecting the charge port. You can see there's a little shelf in front of the rear wheel there, covered with a rubber flap, really nicely moulded. Keep muck out of that main pivot. As you can see, there's not a ton of mudroom though. Probably get away with a chunky 2.4 though. Moving over to this side, you can see you've got that UDH hanger style, that T-type rear mech, bolting straight on. Been flawless today is that. And then little mud flicker, ribbed chainstay protector, and even things like the actual chainring down there. It's a really neat piece of CNC machining. You know, e-bike cranks can look a bit minging, but these are not only super light, they look super nice as well. Yeah, definitely treat these tyres with caution, or bit stickier front. Just had a big washout back there. Luckily stamp shaped it, but yeah. These are for speed, not steez. Why? Why do you have to drop it here? You just come through a gate. Take your tracker, your harvest crunch. I mean, they probably choke to death because it's a harvest crunch bar, but take it with you, stick it in your pocket. Stop littering. Ah. Bloody mountain bikers. Things are about to get momentous. 99.9, 100k. Time for some organic gingery carrot cake to celebrate, I reckon. Sky's getting pink up there. A race in the sun. But we're definitely still racing. Yes, Whyte. You shimmy, shimmy. Oh yeah, this is proper dark now. We are lights on in Dalby. You, yeah, we can still send it. Oh, here comes the surprising death trappy sense. What faith no more say? You come from out of nowhere. Whew. Because mostly it's just mellow, flowing, a swoopy stuff, and then suddenly, right on the back end of the lap, people are going to be feeling tired. You throw in, first one's just horrible greasy rock. Some big boulders. Oh, hear that front tyre going then. And then the second one's got some proper little, you know, you got to lift and pop them. You're not going to nosedive badly. Should probably talk about the other modes, even though I haven't used them. And let's flip through them now. Feeling cocky with my battery. So we've got, this is Eco, where I've been pretty much all day. Then we've got Tour Plus. I have to say, I can't feel much noticeable difference. I know it kicks in earlier in terms of power if you're struggling, gives you more sport. Then you've got EMTB, yeah, definitely feel a difference there. It's definitely pulling harder. So again, that's the more responsive, more aggressive mode. Then you got full turbo. Whoa, that's definitely off. Yeah. Whew. Don't want to burn the battery out at this point, but yeah, that's definitely, see that surge properly then. But even in Eco, 107k in there, damn it. You're still twiddling up this fire road, 15, 16 clicks. And obviously, if you do want to stick it in turbo, then it'll play with the big boys. To a certain extent, you know, I certainly didn't feel disadvantaged against Mick and Mike when I was riding here on the first ride. And they were on full E160s. Right, gear down, wind it out. So, cruising in now, and I'm not sure what other bikes, what other e-bikes could have done this. I mean, I know e-bikes aren't my strongest suit in terms of testing, but Fuel EX, Levo SL, very much more kind of sturdy trail bike, something like the E-Lyte 150. So stickier tyres, the mullet on the Levo SL now, so you're not going to get this kind of pedaling efficiency and speed. And then bikes like the Scott Lumen, they are lighter, but that TQ motor isn't nearly as pokey. And I'll have to double check, but I don't think the battery capacity is up there. And that super light rock wheel, definitely not. Be interesting, the next one on the menu, Santa Cruz Heckler SL. That's for 060, which I have ridden before. But it'd be interesting to see how far that goes. It's been getting reviewed very, very well. But again, I think it's Santa Cruz are definitely trending towards quite aggressive trail interpretations. Pretty much everything, even their tall boy. He's a seriously punchy brawler of a bike now. Brawler. Giving it 120 mil, so it'd be interesting to see what the Heckler SL like. But, you know, yes, not a massive fan of the fork on this. Had some sketchy moments with the front tyre, and in fact the bolts have gone rusty on this sample at least. It's a bit disappointing for £11,000. But in terms of a bike that's super efficient for getting the distance done, while still being a lot of fun on the descents. I've been very, very impressed by this E-Lyte 140 Works, to give it its full title. It really does feel like Whyte have stepped into like the classic British cross-country epic riding population and style with this bike, and it will suit those guys down to an absolute T. Although pretty sure they will put a map board on it, so I hope they're okay with that. Or is it all GPS now? To be fair, it's been a while since I've seen a map board. I don't know, I'll have to ask my mate Tim, who runs all the mountain bike orienteering. But you know, so many people ride trails like this, or just local bridleways, which this bike is superbly suited for. I think, you know, in the right hands, it's absolutely the right bike. Good job, Whyte. Good job, Bosch. Good job, SRAM. You haven't put a foot wrong. DT Swiss. These wheels are, you know, for a lightweight cross-country setup, these are stiff and sturdy. Almost too stiff, like I say. But if you ever met Sam, designer at Whyte, that man is an absolute beast. So I can see why he's made a bike strong enough to survive kind of abuse he'd put it through. Phew! Still got it, still sprinting, Definitely. Oh, hello. Look where there's a corner though, that would help. It's definitely, you get more assist if you just sit and spin, but it never feels like, actually that's one thing, that's one very key point, never feels like you're providing more power than the motor. The motor's always there, even in eco, it's always there in the background. The TQ, and to a lesser extent the motor on the Levo, it's quite easy to overpower them. If you stand up and sprint, they're really giving you nothing at all. And then, you know, while we're talking, picked up speed, and now we're off the motor. And literally all that happens is there's a slight decrease in noise. Wind noise goes up, motor noise drops off, but there's no sudden, oh, you know, you're not bouncing off the limiter by any stretch. It just pushes beyond it really well. That kind of underlines just what a naturally fast bike well, this is. Still got the zoomies at 110. I did not expect to be doing this. Well, kind of had it in the back of my mind, but I hope the fish and chip shop's open on the way home. I mean, I've got my Talk protein powder for recovery, but I'd rather have cod and chips. Not gonna lie. I'd rather have both. I think that's probably what'll happen. Anyway, oh, it is still chattery over this. I mean, it has helped a lot dropping the tyre pressure slightly, but through here. Oh, fun ride though. Fun ride. This has been a cracking day out. I plugged in Hayley Williams and Paramore for range, but it's still got the handling to let me get deranged. Wyatt, riot, I want to riot. Riot, riot, riot on my own. Riot, riot, I want to riot. Riot, riot, riot on my own. You! Only one bar left now, but we did it. 114k. 3 laps of Dalby. Red with a bit of black to spice things up. I haven't looked at the black. Oh, hello. Whatever that was, I missed it, but yeah. That's guaranteed full travel on that fork. And that's why it's nice to have a strong frame. Whew. $6.15. So that was a 2:05 lap. In fact, average lap time. No, God, that must have been the 2 again. Is that right? No, it was a 2, then a 2:10, 2:05. So, you know, another advantage of an e-bike, pretty consistent lap times, all told. Yoo-hoo! Boom! So this finish is looking even more horror show than it normally does, but seriously impressed with this Whyte E-Lyte 140 Works. Considering it's cold, considering Dalby hasn't got a ton of elevation as a track, but it's very, very pedally. And to finish, no, hang on, it's gone to sleep. Oh, there we go. 114.5 kilometers, 18.3 kilometer an hour average speed, maximum speed of 40, air temp of 5, which is really going to knock the battery down, and still with 1 bar left. I mean, yeah, 1 orange bar, but still, there's still juice in it. And this is the lightweight bike, you know, with the battery extender on it. So, yeah, fair play. I mean, I don't think it's perfect. There are a few niggles, some bits I'd change with like the shock tune, fork type, and possibly change the tyres. I might even change the wheels because it's damn stiff. It could do with being a little more comfortable, in my opinion, but clearly super efficient. And that Bosch SX motor, very, very impressive. So I'm going to do a proper tech talk round on this bike in the workshop, properly lit, so you can actually see what I'm talking about.
I might do another test on the, I probably might do a comparison test on the 34 Fit 4 with the 34 Grip 2, just can see what you're missing out on. And I might even do something about that SX motor. There's already tests on XXSL, the Axis system, and there's tests on the Level Ultimate brakes as well, which in normal circumstances are fine, but they're definitely only just about adequate on this bike because it gets a move on, and with this battery pack on, like I say, it's still 19 kilos. But I've had an absolutely belting day here at Dalby. And so massive thanks to you guys for coming along for the ride with me. Huge thanks to all my sponsors. I'll list them down below, and I'll put links through to their website so you can actually go and see their products. And if you buy from them, that would be grand because it'll help them support the site. And also, you know, I'm only sponsored by brands that I really believe in, so you're going to get good stuff if you go with them. Plus, if you see them at shows or anything like that, go, thanks for, you know, doing a bit of care in the community for that old loon Kestevan. We like watching his videos, and we like the fact that you support him, because you never know, you know, sponsorship's hard to come by at the moment in these trying times for the industry. So a thumbs up like from you guys to my sponsors would be super useful, as with a thumbs up like for the video. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, click for notifications. If you really like what I'm doing here and can spare some money to support me on a monthly basis, then go to my Patreon page and you'll get early extended ad-free edits as a thank you. And but most of all, but probably the most useful thing you can do besides that is tell your mates. Because hopefully, if you've got this far through the video and you've enjoyed watching it, then your mates will as well. But yeah, like I say, look for the Tech Talk Round video and the first ride with the designers, where there's a lot more background information about the process they went through to get this bike to where it is now, and also more detail on shock tunes and things like that, which I haven't covered here. But for now, I'm Guy Kestevan at about 5 o'clock at night, quite hungry, but very, very exhilarating at having smashed out 3 laps of Dalby Red and Black on Whyte's lightweight mid-power superbike, the E-Lyte 140 Works. Pooh!